1.
Okay, so today we're going to look at multiplying and dividing exponents. So we're starting off with multiplying exponents with the same base. So these rules only work if they have the same base. So we'll start off here with just the basic idea of what we're going to work on is that when we have this, so when we have powers, which means we have a variable or a number with an exponent, that we can do these rules as long as they're the same. So when we're multiplying them together, we want to keep the base, and base should be in blue, so keep the base and add the exponents. So what that would look like here, in exponents, we're going to underline in red here because we're going to use that to help kind of keep the two things separate as we go along. So basically, what does it look like? So algebraically, that would be that if we had a to the m power times a to the n power, that what we would do is we'd keep the base, so the base is a, and then we would add the exponents. So we'd take m plus n. So as long as the base is the same, we can add their exponents. This gives us a little kind of a shortcut here to help simplify expressions so we can move on through these more complex problems. So as we see here in example 1, we have our bases, which I'm putting a blue box around here, so this is the base. And then I'm putting a red circle around our exponents. So these are our exponents, just to make sure we have this as a little reference. So what the rule says is that we can keep the base, so that means we're going to keep the x, and then we're going to add the exponents. So we're going to take 5 plus 4. That means we get x to the 9th power. Okay? So same thing in example 2. We have y times y to the 6th. So now we have to be careful because we've talked about this before, but we'll take it one step at a time. So we have our y's here, so we have our bases. And then we have our exponents. So we have a 6 here. Now remember, this y doesn't look like it has 1, but technically in that spot there is that 1. So we do have actually an exponent of 1. So then we bring it all together. We have y to the 1 plus 6. And of course that will give us y to the 7th. And so one more time here, these are kind of our simple ones, our basic ones, but we have our base. We have our exponents. So that's going to give us, we're going to keep the base, we're going to keep the 3. And we have the 2 plus 3. So that gets us 3 to the 5th power. Okay. So those are kind of our basics. We have just one of each variable, the same bases here together now. Now the idea still works on bigger problems, which we're going to see here in example 4. In example 4, we have a little more complex. But before we go there, remember, at any time you guys can just pause and make sure you copy everything down before we move on. You can rewind. Feel free to do that any time. Listen to each part as many times as you think you need it. But take your time. Make sure you're filling everything as you see it. Make sure you're using the right colors and everything also, please. So example 4, a little more complex. We have some steps here for this. So the first thing we're going to do here is we're going to multiply the coefficients. So remember, our coefficients are our values here. So we're going to use green for here. So there's our coefficients, 4 and 2. So those are coefficients. Remember, those are the numbers, the whole numbers that are in front of our variables or sets of variables. So we need to bring them together, and we're going to multiply together. So we have 4 times 2, and that's going to give us 8. And so now we got that part done. We're going to look at the next part, which is getting back to what we just did. And we're going to keep the base, and we're going to add the exponents. And so we're going to take these one at a time, And we're going to look at here, we have our first one, we have our x's. So that means we have x to the fifth times x to the first. So we keep the base, that's x. Go back and try it again. So we have x times x, we have the fifth to the first. So that gives us x to the 5 plus 1 because we keep the base, which means we get x to the 6th power. Sorry about that. So then we look at the next one. So we look at the y. So I'm going to just put a circle the y's just because to kind of break it up some. So we have y to the second times y to the 6th. And so we just go through the process. This is going to give us y to 2 plus 6, where we keep the base and add the exponents. And that will give us y to the 8th. Okay, so once we've done all that, there's nothing else we can do. We go ahead and bring these all back together as 8 times x to the 6th times y to the 8th. And so we're going to stop here for a moment on this video. You're going to practice a couple of these problems on your own. Remember, make sure you show your work on your whiteboard and then show that to me before you move on from each question to question. And take your time. We watch this as much as you need to. Make sure you fill in your notes correctly. And remember, just keep the base and add the exponents when it applies. So on the practice problems, so the next video says practice problems for multiplying exponents, also called multiplying powers. Make sure you as soon as you start that, go ahead and pause it so you can work on that first problem. Unpause it, the next one will come up. Pause it, so pause each one to work on it, then unpause it to get to the next one. So work on this. If you have questions, feel free to talk to your teammates and also to talk to me. And I'm going to go ahead and stop this one here, and you guys can go on to the next video and watch it there.